Christian Wood has successfully gone through his procedure on his knee. There is no timetable for his return yet. More likely than not, he's going to miss the season. Best case scenario, he probably comes back maybe the last 2 games, 3 games, something like that. But more likely than not, he's going to end up resting up, get through the season, maybe even the play-in tournament, and then hopefully he can return sometime during the playoffs. Obviously, the more success the Lakers have, the more likely it is that he's going to return. If the Lakers can, get to the second round, which a lot of people think that that's very unlikely, but what if they do finish as the 8th seed and they end up playing the Thunder in the first round? I think the Lakers could beat the Thunder in a 7-game series, and then all of a sudden they're in the second round. Maybe you get Christian Wood back. There's also been a report floating around that, again, I always say take these reports, take everything with a grain of salt. I was from CBS Sports saying that basically Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt, and Gabe Vincent all wouldn't return this season. I did a whole video on As It Stands Lakers. If you want to hear the in-depth deep dive, go check that out. But then we got a report from Mark Stein who says Gabe Vincent is nearing a return. So again, who are you going with is kind of where that's at. But Christian Wood, without a doubt, he's going to be gone for some while. But what does this mean for the Lakers? Are the Lakers just going to stand pat, kind of go into the play-in, kind of just ride with Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes as their 2 primary bigs? Once you get into the play-in and you get into the playoffs, you're probably playing Anthony Davis 36+ minutes a game anyway. So you just kind of need somebody to come in for 12 to 15 minutes and run some time. Obviously, I really like Christian Wood. I think he's very versatile, and his ability to play the 4 or the 5, I think, has some real value. His ability to stretch the floor, things like that. But the Lakers could get by. The other alternative is they go and they bring in another big man. You could always waive Christian Wood and bring in another big man. But before we dive into this, because we did get some news, as you can tell by the title, problem with waiving Christian Wood or anybody is Christian Wood has a player option next year. So if the Lakers waive him, then that counts towards the cap next season. So the Lakers would be even more limited than they already are and trying to get free agents next year. So does replacing Christian Wood for a guy that's going to be a rental between now and the end of the season, which, that could be the first play-in game. You get somebody for a month and now you just kind of jeopardize next season. Just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about I want the Lakers to waive this guy to bring in this guy. Keep in mind that that's going to impact next year also. So, but Dwight Howard posted this with a clock and a picture of him in a Laker uniform. Now, look, we know Dwight Howard has wanted to be a Laker. We know he wants to come back. He's made it very clear, very abundant. He's been very outspoken about wanting to get back to the NBA, period, but particularly with the Lakers. Every time he has an opportunity to, mention the Lakers, what is he doing? He's mentioning the Lakers to bring him in. And the clock, you can interpret that several ways. I've seen a lot of different people interpreting it several different ways. The way I kind of interpret it is now's the time, right? Christian Wood, he's out, come get me, or the clock's ticking. You could also look at it as it's just a matter of time till he comes. Just again, take as you may with this. And look, I know a lot of people really want Dwight Howard, right? Many people remember what he did against Jokic in the 2020 bubble in which the Lakers won the championship. Now, he was very effective against Jokic because he was able and strong enough not to get bullied and pushed around. He was able to be physical with Jokic. He was kind of in his chest, giving him the hard fouls, taking the occasional tech, but it was worth it, right? And so a lot of people live in that hey, look at what he did against Jokic before, he can do it again. Couple things about that. One, that was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Jokic is nowhere near the same player that he was 4 years ago. And as much as I love Dwight Howard, personally, I think it's kind of I think it's kind of one of those things where you just kind of leave in the past. Because, look, Dwight Howard's 38 years old. He's not 32, 33, where it's like, okay, like maybe he still has it, right? Like Dwight Howard's not the same guy. Jokic isn't the same guy. Dwight Howard's only older. He was 34 at that time. He was still essentially in, the tail end of his prime, right? Like most guys, 27 to 34, right? Especially in today's NBA. And you saw what he was able to do and what he was willing to kind of take the back seat and accept the role. And then you saw what he did with Philly when he, when he got a more expanded role and was able to do more, right? Like, I like Dwight Howard a lot. I just don't think he's the answer anymore, personally. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is if any team, right? Like, let's say Dwight Howard really is the Jokic stopper. Because that's what I see more common than anything. People are always throwing out, but man, he did this to Jokic, he did that to Jokic. Okay, if any team, specifically any playoff team, if any of them thought Dwight Howard could have any impact on Jokic, don't you think somebody would have brought him in and signed him? I mean, seriously. Look, think of a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have no real size, no way of really slowing down or stopping Jokic whatsoever. If any team in the playoffs could use a Dwight Howard, it would be the Thunder. So you're telling me a team that needs a guy like Dwight Howard desperately and could use his toughness, his physicality, his size down low, but also could be a guy that could potentially slow down Jokic. Why haven't they signed him, especially on a vet minimum deal? Why has no team signed him to any type of contract? I got to ask yourself that, because I see a lot of people that are like, and it's like, but okay, then why hasn't anyone signed him? Is everyone just blind to it? Like, every team in the league, no team in the league thinks that there is any value in Dwight Howard, right? So that's my issue. That's my concern with that whole thing. These teams he's had tryouts. He's had, little demonstrations. He was playing overseas and had his struggles at times because he's 38 years old. He's not 34 anymore. So my thing is I don't, if you want to give him, say, a 10-day contract, right? Let's say, let's bring Dwight in 10-day. It won't hurt. Give him a few minutes a game. Let him see what he can do. Play him alongside AD and him. See if they have that spark. Sure. Right. And if Dwight Howard is really good, then sure. But I don't know. Even then, I kind of lean towards I'd rather go and get a guy like a Myers Leonard or, somebody that is more versatile and still has the size and can be physical and is younger. Also, the last time Dwight Howard was a Laker, it didn't go very well. The last stint that Dwight Howard had with the Lakers, he's over there fighting with Anthony Davis on the bench, and there was problems in the locker room. And again, teams have the struggles. They weren't winning. Things were looking bad. That was the 2022 team or whatever, where it just, you had Melo and Westbrook and Dwight, and it looked like, man, in 2012, this would have been the greatest team ever assembled. But, in 2022, it's everyone's just 4 years past their prime. So, again, it's just, is that worth it? Right? Now, Dwight, look, the Lakers get Dwight. Dwight gets the Lakers. Dwight's even talked about, it's like that ex-girlfriend you're addicted to or whatever, where it's just you shouldn't go, but you can't help it. Or whatever the analogy was that he used. It was something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. But, so I do think that, if you want to bring him in on a 10-day, sure. You just brought in Harry Giles, right? Well, again, I know he's not as physically imposing and not as big as Dwight, but you haven't even given him an opportunity yet to see what he looks like and see what he could do for the Lakers. And now you want to bring in another big man that, one, is Darvin Ham even going to play Dwight? And two, it's even if you do, it's for what? If Dwight could come in, play 10 to 15 minutes a game and give you 6 and 6, being physical, all right, sure. just get some rebounds, some putbacks, some lobs. Could he be better than Jackson Hayes? Possibly. But I also default to he's 38 years old. I don't know. Look, if it happens, I'm not going to be upset about it. Right? I'm not going to complain. Like, oh, sure, okay. I'm not super sold on it. I'd rather them just go in a different direction. Again, if Dwight was like 3 years younger, if he was like 35, maybe even 36, and I know some people are like, oh, what's 36 to 38? It's a big difference in basketball years. A big difference. I mean, most guys are out of the league at 38. So, there's a big difference there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think that the Lakers should bring in Dwight Howard even on a 10-day? Do you think no? Keep him far away. Again, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. That's when you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.